Hello, friends. Have you ever wanted to speak English, but fear stopped your words and doubt whispered, "You can't do it"? Today, we share the journey of a boy who felt the same way. He was not confident. He didn't have special classes. He didn't know big English words. But he had one thing, a burning desire to change his life. In just 6 months, he transformed from a silent, shy learner to a confident English speaker. This is not a story about grammar or vocabulary or textbooks. This is a story about courage, discipline, tears, and hope. A story about never giving up. A story that can inspire you to begin today. Let's start this journey. And remember, if he can do it, you can do it too. Part 1. Month 1. The beginning of a new life. There was a boy named Liam. He lived in a simple town where dreams were big but opportunities were small. And every time Liam heard someone speak English, his heart felt a little tight. He wanted that confidence too. The power to speak, to understand, to express himself freely. But Liam often stayed quiet. He felt nervous, shy, and unsure. Many times he tried to speak and stopped halfway. Sometimes people laughed. Sometimes he laughed at himself. But deep inside, a small fire was burning. One evening, Liam sat alone near the window of his small room. Outside, the world looked peaceful. Inside, his heart was full of thoughts. He whispered, "I want to change my life." He remembered every moment he felt weak, every time he stayed silent, every dream he pushed aside because of fear. A tear touched his cheek, but then he wiped it and stood tall. That night, he made a powerful promise. "I will learn English in 6 months. No excuses. No stopping. Month 1 began. Liam didn't join an expensive course. He didn't have a fancy teacher. He didn't have perfect grammar books. But he had desire. Every morning, he listened to simple English stories. Afternoons, he learned 10 new words. Evenings, he wrote short sentences like, "I am learning English. I will speak confidently. I am growing every day." And every night, he practiced speaking in front of the mirror. The first week was difficult. His voice shook. He forgot words. Sometimes his mind went blank. Sometimes he felt embarrassed, even alone. But he did not give up. Every day, one new step. Every day, one new word. Every day, one small improvement. One night, he said a full sentence without stopping. "I will speak English confidently." It was simple, but for him, it felt like winning a gold medal. Because month 1 taught Liam something powerful. Starting is the hardest part. And he had started. His journey had begun. Part 2. Month 2. The first achievement. The second month began with a new energy inside Liam. He wasn't fluent yet, but something had changed. He now believed he could learn English. Every morning, he woke up early, sat near the window with a small notebook, and whispered to himself, "Today, I will become better than yesterday." This month, Liam did something new. He started speaking with real people. Not many, just a shopkeeper, a friend who knew basic English, and sometimes a stranger online. The first time he tried, his hands shook, his voice trembled. Words came slowly, like baby steps. He said, "Hello, how are you?" The person answered, and Liam understood. It was a small moment, but to him, it felt like a mountain moved. That day, Liam smiled all the way home. For the first time, he felt proud of himself. He continued learning every day, 10 to 15 new words. One small story listening practice. Mirror speaking practice. Writing simple sentences. Some days were exciting. Some days were hard. Some evenings he felt tired and thought, "Will I ever speak like native speakers?" But then he reminded himself, I am not competing with anyone. I am only growing better than myself. Slowly. Very slowly. Liam started thinking in English. While walking, he whispered, I am going to the market. Before sleeping, he said, today was a good learning day. He didn't notice it at first, but English was becoming a natural part of his day. One afternoon, his cousin visited and said, wow, your English sounds better. Those simple words felt like sunshine. Liam's eyes sparkled, and inside his heart he said, yes, I can do this month too, gave Liam his first confidence boost. He was not perfect, but he had changed. He no longer dreamed of speaking English. He had started living it. Part 3. Month 3. The struggle and the breakthrough. Month 3 arrived like a real test. This was not the beginning excitement anymore. This was not the soft, warm feeling of progress. This was reality. Some mornings Liam woke up tired. Some days he felt bored. Sometimes he stared at English sentences and nothing made sense. He wondered, am I really improving? Or am I just wasting time? This month was difficult because the fire of excitement had calmed down, and now it was time for discipline. In the first few weeks, he faced many challenges. There were days when he tried to speak and his tongue felt heavy again. There were moments when he forgot easy words like begin or important. One evening, he tried watching an English interview and understood so little that he almost closed his book forever. He sat on his bed, feeling frustrated. He looked outside the window. People were laughing, living, doing normal things. And he was inside fighting with words. He whispered, maybe English is not for me. A tear rolled down his cheek, not because he was weak, but because he was tired. He thought about quitting. But then, his eyes saw the notebook on his table. The first page had a sentence written on day 1. I will learn English in 6 months. No excuses. He touched that sentence with his fingers, and suddenly, he remembered the boy he was on the first day. A boy full of dreams, courage, and hope. He sat up straight and said quietly, I did not come this far to stop here. So Liam changed his strategy this month. He created a new routine. Morning, listen to English for 30 minutes. Afternoon, read a short story in English. Evening, speak for 15 minutes to himself. Night, write a small diary in English. And he added something powerful. Every morning he repeated, I am getting better each day. Slowly, the struggle started to change. One day, he went to a nearby shop and spoke English without fear. The shopkeeper replied in simple English, and they had a small conversation. It lasted just 1 minute. But for Liam, it felt like winning a trophy. Another day, he tried watching a short English video again. This time, he understood most sentences. He paused the video, smiled, and said, I did not understand everything, but I understood more than last month. That was progress. Little by little, his confidence returned. He realized something powerful. Learning is not always exciting. Sometimes it is hard. Sometimes it tests you. But those who continue, win. Month 3 taught Liam a life lesson. Progress is slow. Some days are heavy. Some nights feel empty. But every struggle creates strength. He did not become fluent this month. But he became stronger. He became disciplined. He became unstoppable. When this month ended, Liam stood in front of his mirror, looked at himself with new strength, and said, I fell, but I stood again. I struggled, but I continued. I am becoming the person I once dreamed of. He was not the same boy anymore. He was growing into someone powerful. and his journey was only half done. Part 4. Month 4. The Confidence Explosion. Month 4 was different. Not because English suddenly became easy, but because Liam had changed. He was no longer learning English only to speak it. He was learning English to become a new version of himself. Every morning, Liam woke up with purpose. He opened his notebook, read his old notes, and smiled at how far he had come. 4 months ago, he could barely say a full sentence. Now he could talk for 1 minute without stopping. That felt like a miracle. But the real magic was not in the words. It was in his confidence. Something inside him had opened, a light he didn't even know he had. One day he went to a community library. He picked up an English book, nothing too hard, a simple storybook. A man sitting next to him looked at the book and asked, "Do you understand it?" Liam smiled and said confidently, "Yes. I am learning, and I understand most of it." The man nodded, impressed. A few months earlier, Liam would have stayed silent. But today, he spoke like someone who believed in himself. He also started helping younger kids in his neighborhood speak English. At first, they giggled hearing his English, but when he spoke more, they listened seriously. One small boy asked him, "Brother, how did you learn English?" Liam smiled and replied softly, "I started, I continued, and I never gave up." Those children looked at him like he was a hero, and for the first time in his life, Liam felt like one. This month, he changed his practice style too. Daily routine, listening practice with real-life English, reading 2 to 3 pages of a book every evening, speaking English while walking alone, thinking in English for small things, writing a short story each weekend. Sometimes he spoke to himself in English while cooking, sometimes while walking on the street, sometimes before sleeping. English was not a subject anymore. It was becoming a habit. One evening, a distant relative visited. They spoke to Liam and suddenly said, "Your English sounds very good now. What coaching did you join?" Liam smiled proudly and answered, "I didn't join any coaching. I practiced every day." The relative's eyes widened with surprise. That moment felt like a victory crown on his head, because he realized something priceless. You don't need a big classroom to learn. You need a big heart and a strong mind. At the end of month 4, Liam wrote in his diary, "I am not perfect, but I am confident. I am not fluent yet, but I am fearless now. I believe in myself more than ever." That month, Liam didn't just improve English. He became strong from the inside. Confidence was no longer a dream. It lived in him. His voice was louder. His steps were stronger. His eyes shined brighter. Liam was not chasing English now. English was walking with him. Part 5, Month 5, the transformation everyone can see. Month 5 arrived like sunshine after a long winter. By now, Liam was not just improving. He was transforming. Every person around him could feel it. His voice sounded stronger. His eyes carried confidence. His steps had purpose. He no longer walked like a shy boy. He walked like someone who knew where he was going. People start noticing. One morning at a small cafe, Liam ordered confidently in English, "Can I get one tea, please?" The waiter paused and smiled. Not because the sentence was difficult, but because the boy who once avoided speaking English was now speaking naturally. 2 students sitting nearby heard him and whispered, "He speaks so well, nah?" Liam didn't hear their words, but he felt their admiration in the air, and his heart quietly whispered to him, "I earned this." Unexpected opportunities. A neighbor uncle approached him one evening. "Liam, I heard you speak English the other day. Can you help my son? He wants to learn too." That moment was emotional. A few months ago, he felt ashamed to speak. Now someone trusted him to teach. Liam nodded happily. Helping others felt beautiful. It was like his success was spreading light around him. Soon, 2 more kids joined. Then, 1 more. He didn't plan to teach, but his confidence inspired others. He realized something powerful. When you grow, people around you grow too. The inner change. But the biggest transformation was inside. He started thinking in English more naturally. He didn't fear mistakes anymore. He spoke with courage and clarity. He felt proud of himself. Some nights, he sat quietly and remembered month 1. Those shaky words, those silent tears. But now, he smiled, because that struggle made him strong. He understood something important. Fluency is not just in words. It is in confidence, courage, and consistency. The moment of pride. One afternoon, Liam's schoolteacher met him on the road. "My God, Liam, your English improved a lot. Which academy did you join?" Liam smiled with gentle pride and answered, "I joined discipline. I joined practice. I joined consistency." The teacher laughed in admiration and said, "Well done, Liam. I am proud of you." That sentence touched Liam's heart deeply. He had been waiting years to hear that. He walked home with a smile that could light the whole street, writing his journey. Every night this month, Liam wrote small notes in his diary. "I am improving every day. English is part of my life now. I speak with courage. I will reach the finish line." He didn't fear English anymore. He enjoyed it. It wasn't a burden. It was a gift. And just like that, month 5 ended. Liam was no longer the boy who tried to learn English. He was the boy who lived English. Part 6, Month 6, the final victory and the new beginning. Month 6 arrived like a dream turning into reality. Liam was not the same boy anymore. His eyes had peace, his heart had strength, and his voice had confidence. English was not just a language now. It had become a part of him. The big day. One morning, his school organized a small event. Students were invited to share their thoughts in English. Just hearing that word once made Liam nervous months ago. But today, he stood up and walked to the stage. Still, as he held the mic, his heart beat faster. Not from fear, but from emotion. He looked at the crowd. His teachers, classmates, neighbors, children he taught, all watching him. He took a deep breath and started, "Good morning, everyone." His voice was steady. His words were clear. He didn't rush. He didn't shake. He spoke about his journey, how he started with fear, how he practiced every single day, how he believed in himself when no one else did. He said, "In the beginning, I did not even trust my voice. But English did not change my life alone. My belief did." The hall became silent. Everyone listened, proud and surprised. When he finished, the crowd clapped loudly. Some stood up, cheering for him. His eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of victory. That day, Liam didn't just speak English. He proved to himself who he truly was. A moment alone. Later, he stood alone outside the hall. The wind touched his face softly. The sky looked wide and beautiful. He whispered to himself, "I did it." He closed his eyes and remembered. The rooftop night when he made the promise. The mirror practice. The trembling voice. The tears of frustration. The slow progress. The tiny victories. The days he wanted to quit but didn't. And suddenly, he smiled. a smile full of gratitude, strength, and pride. Because he learned the biggest truth. Learning English changed his voice, but believing in himself changed his life. A new beginning. His journey didn't end here. It started here. Now Liam could speak confidently, understand conversations, help others learn, think in English naturally, dream without fear. He opened his diary and wrote, "This is not the end. This is my beginning." And below it he added, "6 months ago, I was scared to speak. Today I inspire others to speak." He closed the diary gently, looked at the sky, and felt something powerful. A dream completed. A new life opened. Liam's journey teaches us, you don't need perfect English to start. You don't need a big school. You don't need 1,000 rules. You only need courage to begin, discipline to continue, faith to finish. That is how a boy learned English in 6 months, not just with books, but with heart. Before you leave, remember this. Confidence is not given. It is built. Every day, every effort, every struggle counts. So, if you enjoyed this journey, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Your growth starts with one decision. Make that decision now.